The coronavirus pandemic that popped up globally in 2019 and 2020 caught plenty of folks by surprise, and it didn't take long for the world to learn that celebrities aren't immune to the virus, also known as COVID-19. Here are some of the high-profile actors, athletes, and politicians who have tested positive. On March 11, 2020, the NBA announced that it would suspend the remainder of its season, which naturally shocked fans. But the league had a good reason for doing so. One of the players on the Utah Jazz tested positive for coronavirus. That baller turned out to be Rudy Gobert, who broke the news on his Instagram page, writing, "The first and most important thing is, I would like to publicly apologize to the people that I may have endangered. At the time, I had no idea I was even infected." Gobert went on to acknowledge how careless he had been before learning about his diagnosis, and he encouraged people to learn from his mistake. He added, "I will do whatever I can to support using my experience as a way to educate others and prevent the spread of this virus."
It's all about protecting yourself and the people around you.
Unfortunately, Gobert wasn't the only NBA player to come down with coronavirus. Utah Jazz teammate Donovan Mitchell also tested positive for the disease. And while he admitted he had to cool off after learning he had contracted the coronavirus from Gobert, Mitchell maintained a healthy perspective in a video chat interview on Good Morning America. He said he was happy that he and Gobert were the only two on their team to be diagnosed.
Neither him or I have children at home. I know I have some teammates that have children, have some staff that have children at home.
While Mitchell did have to enter isolation so as not to infect anyone else, he claimed he hadn't shown any symptoms of COVID-19. Mitchell even said he'd be ready to lace up and play a game at any time.
No fever, no symptoms as of right now, and I'm just blessed to be able to be okay.
When the news broke that a member of Brazilian President Bolsonaro's staff tested positive for coronavirus in March 2020, that caused concern for Miami Mayor Francis Suarez, who had recently met with the leader.
During the president's visit to Miami on Monday and Tuesday, I was in the same room as the president and the infected staff member.
Suarez added that in an effort to be as cautious as possible, he was going to self-quarantine so as not to spread the virus to others. Shortly thereafter, Suarez once again took to Instagram to announce that he tested positive for COVID-19.
After speaking with medical professionals, I will continue to follow Department of Health protocol and remain isolated while I lead our government remotely.
He also said that the city of Miami would go on operating as normal, though some restrictions have been implemented, according to the Miami Herald. COVID-19 has also been spreading throughout the land down under, according to the Australian government. That's where actor Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson were when they started feeling ill, according to a post on his Instagram page. He wrote in his caption, "To play things right, as is needed in the world right now, we were tested for the coronavirus and were found to be positive." After that, the couple went into isolation. Interestingly enough, a post that Hanks made shortly thereafter sparked controversy, though not because of any coronavirus concerns. He shared a snap of toast slathered in Vegemite, an Australian culinary staple. But Australians were flummoxed by the amount of the condiment he had spread on his toast, according to People magazine, and admonished him for his mistake. Journalist Sally Sarah tweeted, "Life is like a tube of Vegemite. Don't try it all at once." You might not think of James Bond or his many lady friends as especially susceptible to illness, but one Bond girl did test positive for coronavirus, Ukrainian-born actress Olga Kurilenko. In a post on her Instagram page, she wrote, "I've actually been ill for almost a week now. Fever and fatigue are my main symptoms. Take care of yourself and do take this seriously." Kurilenko also said that she was locked up at home while sick, which prompted people to ask her why she had quarantined at home instead of at a hospital. Her answer? Because hospitals are full and they are only taking patients that are struggling with life, if I understand correctly. She was also careful to assure her fans that she would call an ambulance if necessary. As to where Kurilenko contracted the illness, she said, "Impossible to know." Beloved British actor Idris Elba took to Twitter to share an unfortunate announcement on March 16, 2020. He'd tested positive for COVID-19. He wrote in the caption, "I feel okay. I have no symptoms so far, but have been isolated since I found out about my possible exposure to the virus." He encouraged people to stay home and be pragmatic, noting that he'd keep his followers informed about his health. Elba also shared a video in the tweet in which he discussed the details of his diagnosis and implored his followers to take the situation seriously.
Now's the time to really think about social distancing, washing your hands.
Elba implored his fans to forget their partisan differences and come together to take care of each other.
Now's the time for solidarity. Now's the time for thinking about each other